Good morning. It is Thursday. Good to see you this morning. Hope that you're having a good morning so far. And I want you to turn to Isaiah 26, look in verse 3. Isaiah 26, verse 3. This is an important verse, especially for the time that we're living in right now. And I hope that you will find some comfort and some truth and peace in this verse. The verse says, this is talking about God. You, God, keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. That word stayed there is an important word. It means to lean upon or to take hold of for support or to be able to sustain yourself by trusting in someone else. And here in this verse, it tells us that if you will acknowledge God and rely on his power, rely on his wisdom, rely on what he knows and what he can do, which is everything, rather than your own power, then you will stay close to God and you will stay in perfect peace. Perfect peace there is an inward well-being. It's not the absence of conflict. There's so many people that think you can't have peace at all because of war, because of violence, because of conflict, because of problems. No, the Bible is talking about inward peace, that peace that you have inside of you that tells you that everything is going to be okay because God is in control. That's what leaning on God is about. That's what staying on him is about, staying in him. I've seen that this morning. I was led to talk to you about this verse, and I didn't know what I was going to say until I saw these two things happen this morning. First of all, I saw a news report from a lady down in Orange Beach, Alabama, where Gene and Wanda were, for those of you that know our church folks. And Gene and Wanda got out because they heard the warnings and knew what was coming. But this lady stayed and rode out the hurricane, and even though her neighborhood is in high ground, there's still lots of water around her, lots of damage. And she says, I've never been so scared in my life. And I just wanted to scream through the screen. Well, duh. You trusted in yourself. You said you could do this, and you wrote it out yourself instead of heeding the warnings that God was giving you through other people telling you to leave. And you wonder why you didn't have any peace. Her own testimony was that from 10:30 at night until 4:30 the next morning, she listened to the wind howl like a locomotive, and her house shook, and she felt like it was going to fall in, and the rain was coming down and all that. And then now that daylight happened yesterday and she saw the destruction, we didn't know that was going to happen. And she wanted to blame it on the media. She said, we can't trust the media because they didn't tell us the truth. Yes, they did. You just didn't heed the warning. The same thing happens when we get with God and we don't stay in him and we don't find what we need in him because we can't trust we try to trust in ourselves instead of in God, and we can't stay with him. We can't hold on to him. We can't lean upon him. And that's a choice that we all make at times. We have to suffer the consequences. And here, I'm sure that lady meant well. I'm sure she's a good person. She looked like she was a wonderful citizen of Orange Beach. But common sense should have kicked in when I know the news reports are telling you there's a hurricane coming. Now, I'm going to get off that rant. But let me go to what just happened just a moment ago. I got a call from another pastor friend of mine who out of state, not anywhere in Alabama or Mississippi, so let me calm y'all's fears. He asked me to pray, and I asked him, after he told me the request, I asked him, could I share this with my folks on video this morning? And he said, no, you can share that there's a prayer request, but no details. And what I found was that as he told me what it was. He wanted me to know, but he said, don't share the details, but we need prayer right now. And he said, I know you pray, and I know your people pray. So would you please get your people to pray? You know why that has happened? Because some of us pray and we stay in God and trust in God, and we see the results, and it's a witness to somebody else. So when they need a prayer from somebody they don't know, they can turn to us. And you don't know these folks, by the way. I don't even know them. I just know the pastor. I don't know the rest of the folks involved in the prayer request. But the fact that he would ask me to pray, and he said, will you please tell your folks to pray? He don't know you, but he knows you pray, and he knows what happens when you pray because you stay in God. And we find that perfect peace, laying our burdens and our troubles and the trials and the tribulations of life. We lay them at his feet, and he takes care of them. So the prayer request is this. It's an unspoken request, but I want to tell you it's serious right now. So I need you to pray for a fellow brother in his church. They're not. It's a church member issue. Church members having physical issues, and they need God to step in. They need God to step in, and he wants us to pray that a miracle will happen. So I know you will do that. I wish I could tell you more details, maybe one day. But you know what? We don't have to know the details. We have a God who's handling it right now. And we can stay with him in perfect peace. So that's what we'll do. Thank you for praying ahead of time. After you see this and after you hear this, you will pray, I know. And when God will be working. Let me just give you some updates on some folks that I know of right now. Pray for Tim Tudor and Melissa. They're dealing with COVID right now. Pray for Mitch Gressett, pastor at Baldwin, First Baptist Baldwin. He's got it too. I read last night after prayer meeting that our Aunt Patsy is feeling better. She's had it and has it right now. So God's working. And I talked with Gene yesterday. He came by the church and he was just telling us he was so glad he was home and that they came home, and his family was relieved that they were safe and sound, and I am too, and I know you are too. So these are all examples of what we're talking about this morning, staying in God and finding that perfect peace. Y'all have a great day. We will see you in the morning, Lord willing, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you again for praying.